My name is Daniel. I'm 31 years old, and for the last 7 years, I've lived a life that most people in my old world would never recognize. I left home with nothing but a suitcase, $200, and a promise to myself that I would never look back. I didn't leave a note. I didn't say goodbye. I just walked out the door one rainy Thursday morning, the kind of morning where the sky feels heavy, and the world seems to hold its breath. I remember the sound of my shoes on the wet pavement, the way my heart pounded in my chest, and the strange sense of freedom that came with every step I took away from the house I'd grown up in. If you'd asked my family, they would have told you I was unstable. That's the word they used at every family gathering, every church picnic, every awkward conversation with neighbors who wondered why I'd disappeared. Daniel's always been a little different, my mother would say, her voice dropping to a whisper. He just needs time to figure things out. My father would nod, his jaw tight, his eyes cold. My sister Emily would roll her eyes and change the subject. My brother Mark would just laugh and say, "He'll be back when he runs out of money." But I didn't come back. Not after a week, not after a month, not after a year. I built a new life, brick by brick, in a city where no one knew my name. I worked odd jobs, dishwasher, night clerk, delivery driver, anything to keep the lights on and the rent paid. I made friends who became my family, people who saw me for who I was, not who I used to be. I learned to cook, to fix a leaky faucet, to find joy in the smallest things. I found peace in the quiet, in the freedom to make my own choices, to live on my own terms. But the past has a way of finding you, no matter how far you run. Last week, everything changed. It started with a single Google search. My sister Emily, who hadn't spoken to me in years, typed my name into the search bar. Maybe she was curious. Maybe she was bored. Maybe she just wanted to see if I was still alive. Whatever the reason, what she found was something none of them expected. She called my mother first, screaming so loud that the neighbors heard. Then she called my father, then my brother. Within hours, my phone lit up with notifications, missed calls, text messages, emails from addresses I hadn't seen in years. But it was the voicemails that got me. 43 of them, all in one night. Each one from a different family member. Each one saying the same 2 words. Before I tell you what those words were, please like and subscribe the channel, and also tell me in the comments from where you watched this video. Now come back to the story. Thikhana. Aisa add karna hai. I didn't listen to the voicemails right away. I just stared at my phone, the number 43 glowing on the screen like a warning. I felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity, a pull I hadn't felt in years. Part of me wanted to delete them all, to pretend they'd never arrived. But another part of me, the part that still remembered, birthdays and Christmas mornings and the way my mother used to tuck me in at night, needed to know what they had to say. I sat on the edge of my bed, the city lights flickering outside my window, and pressed play. The first message was from my mother. Her voice was shaky, almost unrecognizable. "Daniel, it's Mom. Please call me, please." She sounded older, tired, like the years had worn her down. The next message was from my father. His voice was clipped, controlled. "Daniel, this is your father. We need to talk. Call me back." Then Emily, her words tumbling over each other in a rush. "Danny, I saw what you did. I can't believe it. Please just call me." Each message was different, but they all ended the same way. 2 words spoken softly, urgently, sometimes through tears, sometimes through clenched teeth. "Come home." I listened to every message, my heart pounding, my hands shaking. Some were angry, some were pleading, some were just silent sobs. But always those 2 words at the end. Come home. I didn't know what to feel. For years I'd dreamed of hearing those words, of being wanted, of being missed. But now that they were here, they felt heavy, loaded with all the things we'd never said, all the wounds that had never healed. I spent the night walking through the city, trying to make sense of it all. I thought about the last time I'd seen my family, the arguments, the slammed doors, the way my father's voice echoed down the hallway as I left. I thought about the years I'd spent building a life from scratch, the friends who had become my family, the peace I'd found in solitude. But most of all, I thought about Emily, my little sister, the one who used to follow me everywhere, who cried when I left, who never understood why I had to go. What had she found? What had changed? As the sun rose, I made a decision. I would listen to the rest of the messages one by one and try to piece together the story my family was trying to tell me. Maybe, just maybe, I would find the answer I'd been searching for all these years. I spent the next day in a haze, replaying the voicemails in my head. I didn't return any calls. I didn't answer any texts. I just walked through my apartment, touching the things that made up my new life. A chipped mug from my favorite cafe, a stack of books I'd collected from secondhand shops, a faded photograph of me and my friends at the beach. I wondered if my family imagined me living in some dark, lonely place, or if they realized I'd built something real, something good, far away from them. By noon, the messages started again. This time, they were shorter, more desperate. My mother's voice cracked as she begged me to call. My father's tone grew sharper, as if he could will me to respond through sheer force. Emily's messages were the hardest to hear. She sounded frantic, her words tumbling out in a rush. "Danny, please. I know you're getting these. I just want to talk. Please, just let me explain." I sat by the window watching the city move below me and tried to remember the last time I'd spoken to Emily. It had been years. 7. To be exact. She was 16 when I left, still a kid, still believing that families could fix anything if they just tried hard enough. I wondered what she looked like now. If she still wore her hair in a messy ponytail, if she still doodled in the margins of her notebooks. I wondered what she'd found when she Googled my name. That question gnawed at me. What could she have seen that would make her call our mother screaming? What could possibly have changed after all this time? I opened my laptop and typed my own name into the search bar, half expecting nothing to come up. But there it was, my website, my art, my story. Over the years, I'd built a small but loyal following online. I'd never used my last name, never posted photos of myself, but somehow Emily had found me. Maybe it was the style of my paintings, the stories I told in my blog, the way I signed every piece with a simple D. Maybe she'd recognized something only a sister could see. I scrolled through the comments on my latest post. Most were from strangers, people who loved my work, who shared their own stories of leaving home, of starting over. But one comment stood out. It was from an account I didn't recognize, but the words were unmistakable. "Danny, is it really you?" My heart skipped a beat. I clicked on the profile, but there was nothing there. No photo. No posts, just a name, Emily. I closed my laptop and stared at the ceiling, my mind racing. If Emily had found me, it was only a matter of time before the rest of my family did too. I wondered what they thought when they saw my art, when they read my words. Did they feel proud? Angry? Betrayed? That night, I listened to the voicemails again, searching for clues. In one, my mother's voice was barely more than a whisper. "We miss you, Daniel. We're sorry. Please come home." In another, my father sounded tired, defeated. "I know I wasn't the best dad, but you're still my son. Please, let's talk." Emily's messages were the hardest. She cried, she begged, she apologized for things I didn't even remember. "I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you. I'm sorry I let them say those things. I just want my brother back." I felt the old ache in my chest, the one I'd carried for years. I wanted to forgive them, to believe that people could change, that families could heal. But I also remembered the pain, the loneliness, the way they'd turned their backs on me when I needed them most. I spent the next few days avoiding their calls, throwing myself into my work. I painted late into the night, losing myself in color and texture, trying to drown out the noise of the past. But the messages kept coming, each one a reminder of the life I'd left behind. One evening, as I was cleaning my brushes, my phone buzzed with a new voicemail. This one was different. It was from my brother, Mark, who had barely spoken to me since I left. His voice was quiet, almost hesitant. "Hey, Danny, I don't know if you'll ever listen to this, but I saw your website. I saw what you've done. I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong. We all were. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I sat down, the brush slipping from my fingers. For the first time in years, I felt something shift inside me, a crack in the wall I'd built around my heart. Maybe it was time to stop running. Maybe it was time to listen. I spent the night thinking about what I would say if I called them back. Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I forgive them? I didn't know. All I knew was that the past was no longer as far away as I'd thought. The next morning, I woke up to a new message from Emily. Her voice was steady, determined. Danny, I know you're scared. I know you think we haven't changed. But please, just give us a chance. Let us show you who we are now. Let us try to make things right. I stared at my phone, the words echoing in my mind. Maybe she was right. Maybe people could change. Maybe families could heal if given the chance. But I wasn't ready to decide, not yet. I spent the next day in a strange limbo, caught between the life I'd built and the family I'd left behind. Every time my phone buzzed, I felt a jolt of anxiety, but I couldn't bring myself to turn it off. I went for a long walk through the city, letting the noise and movement wash over me. I watched couples laughing in cafes, children chasing pigeons in the park, old friends sharing secrets on a bench. I wondered if any of them had ever run from home, if any of them knew what it was like to be both missed and misunderstood. That evening, as the sun set and the city lights flickered on, I sat by my window and listened to the last of the voicemails. My mother's voice was softer now, almost broken. Daniel, I know we hurt you. I know we can't undo the past. But please let us try. Please come home. My father's message was shorter, but the pain in his voice was unmistakable. Son, I'm sorry. I should have listened. I should have been there. Emily's final message was the one that undid me. She didn't cry this time. She just spoke quietly, her words clear and steady. Danny, I found you because I never stopped looking. I know you're scared. I know you think we don't deserve another chance. But I love you. We all do. Please, just let us say it to your face. Please come home. I sat in the dark for a long time, the phone warm in my hand. I thought about the boy I'd been when I left. Angry, hurt, desperate for freedom. I thought about the man I'd become, stronger, more certain but still carrying the weight of old wounds. I realized that running had given me space to heal, but it hadn't erased the longing for connection, for family, for forgiveness. I didn't sleep much that night. I kept replaying the messages in my mind, hearing the same two words over and over, come home. I wondered what would happen if I did. Would they welcome me with open arms? Would old arguments flare up again? Would I regret it? The next morning, I made a decision. I packed a small bag, just enough for a weekend, and bought a train ticket to the town I had once called home. The journey felt surreal, like moving through a dream. The landscape blurred past the window, familiar and strange all at once. My heart pounded with every mile, a mix of fear and hope and something like relief. When I arrived, I stood outside my parents' house for a long time, staring at the front door. The garden was overgrown, the paint on the porch chipped, but it was still home. I took a deep breath and knocked. The door opened almost immediately. My mother stood there, her eyes wide with disbelief. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she reached out and pulled me into a hug, her arms trembling. My father appeared behind her, his face lined with worry and regret. Emily rushed down the stairs, tears streaming down her face, and threw her arms around me. We stood there in the hallway, tangled together, crying and laughing and saying all the things we'd held inside for years. There were apologies and confessions, stories shared and secrets revealed. We talked late into the night, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in shouts, but always with honesty. It wasn't easy. There were moments when old hurts resurfaced, when anger flared and tears fell. But there was also forgiveness and understanding, and a sense of hope I hadn't felt in years. The next day, as we sat around the kitchen table, my mother reached for my hand. "Thank you for coming home," she whispered. My father nodded, his eyes shining. Emily squeezed my shoulder, her smile shaky but real. I realized then that coming home wasn't about forgetting the past or pretending nothing had happened. It was about choosing to move forward, together, one step at a time. If you've watched this far, thank you for staying with me through this story. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And if you're ever afraid to reach out to someone you love, remember, sometimes all it takes is 2 words to start again. That night, as I lay in my old bed, listening to the quiet sounds of the house, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. The wounds weren't gone, but they were healing. And for the first time, I believed that maybe, just maybe, home was a place I could return to, not because I had to, but because I wanted to.